There are a lot of climate catastrophes in our recent times. One of them was last week where the driest place, the deserts in the US, actually had a flood, which is a 1,000-year event. So we are experiencing 1,000-year events now.
California's Death Valley, the record rainfall, more than 6 months worth of rain, falling in just hours. The water coming fast, trapping cars and stranding nearly 1,000 people. The floods sweeping through the valley, catching many by surprise.
Driving along Jalan Tanduk in Bangsa, this conspicuous architecture is hard to miss. Overthrown by a black border of aluminium shell with an eye-catching sight of a cascading pockets of garden punching through the facade. On the side of the architecture, a glimpse of an outstanding yellow highlight of the emergency staircase adds more distinctive character to the building design. With such a bold and dramatic facade on the exterior, I'm certain the view from the interior will be staggering. My name is Alex Lee and I am from Design Seat. Today's episode, we will be bringing you in a tour of the PAM Center.
The design brief for this building that was done through competition was to promote architectural excellence. Reinterpretation of all the values that we have, especially with the soul of the architecture. Not just about interpreting cultural nuances, but rather things like environment. So environmental sustainability was something that was ingrained into the brief. So that's where we are now, in such a lovely, naturally ventilated space. Yeah.
The design approach for the PAM Center was built on the act of crafting the space between. The PAM Center sits on a narrow sloping street with an existing 4-story structure limiting the possibility for green space at the ground level. With these constraints, the architect designed the building from the inside out, creating strokes of spaces inspired by 2 key urban design patterns: the space between buildings and connectivity. The core of the building is formed by the stepped atrium that brings courtyard and garden elements inside. Staircases serve as the choreographers of movement, drawing people off the street and into the building. An unassuming entry staircase leads to an open space that is accessible to people, context and environment.
This design won the competition among our members because of the continuous dialogue between these open spaces, where from one space you can actually see other space and there is a vertical interaction. That means you don't need to use your handphone to call somebody downstairs. You can have a conversation with somebody downstairs, and when people walk up the stairs, they can see where they're going. It's not what we call as a closed loop staircase, but it is a continuous staircase. And this is something that is very unique and something that we want to show people that it can be done in a commercial building. And a commercial building should be pleasant rather than very limited in nature. It should be welcoming, even though the materials that we use are somewhat industrial. The fenestrations of this building is quite unique because we are taking direct cues from our vernacular architecture, meaning that it emphasizes on cross-ventilation as well as natural sunlight. So we see that we don't need electrical or artificial lighting, and we don't need as much air conditioning as other buildings. So we save a lot of energy and it's more pleasant. I'm wearing these kind of clothes here and I feel comfortable sitting outside with the good gust of wind now. The cross ventilation works when there is a difference of pressure. Differential pressure actually creates wind. So when you have large openings going to small openings, it actually works better. As you well know scientifically, when you have a huge area, when it goes down to smaller area, it becomes quicker and faster. It's something like a funnel effect. And we've been blessed, but that this site has quite good wind coverage. It's not blocked by any other building, so it's very pleasant to have to go out in the areas that are open air.
The rear facade faces a neighbouring multi-storey car park that is painted in orange, and with the punctured holes across the cement wall that acts as a gateway for cross ventilation, at certain angles, the squared holes, the orange colour strikes out, complementing an interesting addition to the monochromatic interior. It's fascinating to see how primitive building materials could be crafted in such sleek detailing and yet being so functional.
I think the key challenge when a lot of the designers who entered the competition wanted to solve was how to make this very rectangular building more humane in terms of scale and break down solid rectangle, right? So in this design, there is negative spaces that actually form a continuous space from the lower levels to the upper levels. And this is not just in terms of internal space, it is transposed to an outside space as well, like where we're sitting now. So these facades actually work together so that people from the street can understand the building from the outside. Even without entering, you can see these pocket spaces from the outside, and these are interlaced with a lot of greenery so that it cuts down the sun, not just with the fenestration but also with the plants. So in the end, you have this building that people do not need to enter to understand, and I think that is a key feature that the PAM building has.
The entire architecture is built with simplicity at its best. No fancy curves, no wastage of materials or dead corners. Every space has its purpose. The building facade faces the evening sun. This benefits the architecture by giving more characteristics to the architecture when the sun hits the building. Dramatic shadows are displayed throughout the open space and bare walls, and common louver windows that functions as shields for rain and to improve cross-ventilation unintendedly became unique features by protecting spectrums caused by the thickness of the glass. The PAM Center is a Green Building Index certified project. What is a green building, and what makes a building green? A green building focuses on increasing the efficiency of resource use, energy, water, and materials. Basic fundamentals like reducing usage of air condition by encouraging natural cross-ventilation and reducing artificial lights by allowing more natural lighting into spaces. These are the basic fundamentals that leads towards sustainability.
The ways that you are using natural ventilation for most of the areas in the building is like 50%, okay, is actually natural ventilated areas. So you know how much that saves energy, compared to a normal building, right? Where you're looking at actually half of the energy of a normal building. All right. So what I'm trying to say is less is more. Okay. Simple concepts. Okay. Nothing complicated. I wouldn't say simplified. I would say that it's not complicated concepts, right? Normally, when you think about fans, right, in your houses, right, you have like one fan for the living room, one fan for your dining, one fan for your bedroom and whatnot, right? So here you have this one fan. Instead of having 10 fans everywhere, you have one fan to move the air and to make everyone feel comfortable throughout this space, that space. Okay, so that's the advantage of using these fans. And it does it with the least amount of energy used. Okay, that's simply good design. Okay, in the spirit of GBI, all right, GBI will rate buildings on 6 criteria. Okay, GBI will rate building on its energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, your site management, okay, your materials and resources that you use for this building, your water efficiency, and finally, how innovative you are.
We are actually affecting the natural order of the climate. There are a lot of climate deniers, but it's undeniable. We can see satellite photos, we have scientific data. It's no longer something of a fallacy. It is hard facts. If we don't act now, maybe we might be saved, our generation might be saved, but definitely the future generation will suffer the consequences. And that means our children and our children's children.
I think the biggest point is this. We cannot say that whether we can afford green buildings or not. We have to think about whether we can afford not to have green buildings. Let's say, for example, the temperature rise, right? Global warming, right? We need to stop it, before it goes to 2 degrees C, right? Because as it goes to 2 degrees C, just it's safe enough to say bad things will happen, okay? We cannot afford to let this happen.
Sustainability is not just about preserving greens, but a commitment to enable an environment where greenery is simply about living it. Do you agree that climate is changing? Don't you think that we are the cause of this change? Can we all make a difference? The understanding of going green and the guidelines towards sustainability can correct the perception and route us towards the right path in crafting a greener building. This episode is a collaboration with Green Building Index Malaysia, also known as GBI. We will be featuring more green contents of such to encourage an awareness and movement towards cultivating a better and greener tomorrow. Please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned to more of our upcoming compelling episodes. My name is Alex Lee and I am from Design Seeds. Thank you for watching.